There's a reason why the world's most silent warriors are born under the sign of Capricorn. Because beneath their calm exterior lies something ancient, a secret code written not in words, but in endurance. For centuries, astrologers have called Capricorn the keeper of time, the one who doesn't just live through history, but builds it. Their ruler, Saturn, is known as the great teacher of the Zodiac, the planet of karma, responsibility, and structure. But what most people never realize is that Saturn didn't just shape Capricorn's destiny. He forged their soul through pressure, through trials, through every storm that demanded strength over comfort. Capricorns are not ordinary souls. They are the architects of their own fate, the mountain climbers who rise when others rest. They're born carrying an invisible crown, not of gold, but of duty. And behind every quiet smile, there's a universe of lessons learned too soon, of pain transformed into wisdom. Today, we're going to open a gate that has been closed for too long, the hidden gate of Capricorn. Through it, we'll uncover 12 truths that even most Capricorns don't fully understand about themselves. Some will move you, some will surprise you, and a few may even explain why you've always felt different, like your soul was older than the room you walked into. This isn't another horoscope video. This is a journey into the inner architecture of one of the most powerful and misunderstood signs in the zodiac. Because to truly understand a Capricorn, you must go beyond their silence and look into what their silence protects. Each truth you're about to hear is a door. And by the end of this video, when all 12 doors have been opened, you'll see not only the Capricorn sign, but the legacy, the prophecy, and the unshakable light that lives within it. So, take a deep breath. Forget everything you've been told about ambition, control, or perfection. We're about to step into something older than time itself, the spirit of the mountain, the endurance of Saturn, and the soul of Capricorn revealed. Before we begin, tell me in the comments, have you ever felt like you were born with responsibilities that others couldn't understand? Comment your answer below, because this is where your story and Capricorn's story begin to merge. Now, let's open the first gate. Truth number 1, born old, becoming young. They say Capricorn is born old. And it's true, not in body, but in spirit. While other children dream of play, the young Capricorn is already watching the world with ancient eyes. They carry a quiet seriousness, an invisible weight that doesn't belong to childhood. It's as if their soul remembers something the rest of us forgot: responsibility, purpose, order. From an early age, they sense that time isn't infinite. They see parents struggle, they feel the pressure of expectations, and somehow, even before anyone asks, they take the role of the strong one. Maybe that's why so many Capricorns grow up faster than they should. While others are learning how to dream, they're learning how to survive. But here's the hidden truth: Capricorn's life moves in reverse. They are born serious and grow lighter with time. The more they experience the world, the more they allow themselves to laugh, to dance, to feel free. They learn that maturity doesn't mean coldness, it means knowing when to let go. Think of Michelle Obama, a Capricorn whose youth was defined by structure and expectation. Yet as she grew older, she became more radiant, playful, confident in her own rhythm. That's the evolution of Capricorn energy: discipline first, joy later. Because they must earn their freedom through wisdom. The irony is beautiful. They start life as old souls, and end life as joyful children. They're not aging, they're unraveling the tight knots Saturn wrapped around them. Every year, another layer of duty melts into laughter. Every challenge they survive teaches them not just endurance, but the art of peace. And that's what makes Capricorn truly timeless. They don't chase youth, they become it again once they've mastered pain. Life lesson number 1. Maturity isn't about control, it's about learning how to trust life again. If you're a Capricorn and you've ever felt like you had to grow up too soon, comment below, "This is me." Because this first truth is your reminder: you were never broken. You were simply ancient before your time. Now that we've opened this first gate of understanding, let's move to the next hidden truth. Truth number 2, the keeper of silence. There's a silence that follows every Capricorn, a silence that doesn't ask for attention, but commands respect. They don't speak to fill space. They speak to make meaning. And when they go quiet, that's when you should really listen. For Capricorn, Silence isn't emptiness, it's strategy. They observe, they absorb, they analyze. Before they make a move, they've already studied the room, the energy, the motives. While others argue or react, Capricorn stands still, reading every unspoken word between the lines. Because in their world, information is power and silence is how they gather it. You may think they're detached, but they're not. They're recording everything: the way you look away mid-conversation, the tone that shifts when you lie, the inconsistency between what you say and what you do. Capricorns store these moments like files in their mental archive. And when the time comes, they can recall them with the precision of a clockmaker. That's why you can't fool a Capricorn twice. They might forgive, but they never forget. And when they finally walk away, it's never impulsive. It's the quiet decision of someone who already gave you 1,000 chances in their head before taking a single step. Their silence is their protection, their invisible armor against chaos. They don't need to scream to prove a point, because the truth always echoes louder in stillness. It's the same power that made Martin Luther King Jr., a Capricorn, move nations not with rage, but with composure. His words shook the world precisely because they were spoken from deep stillness. Capricorn's silence is not a lack of voice, it's the sound of mastery. It's the pause between understanding and action. It's where wisdom lives. Life lesson number 2. Sometimes silence isn't retreat, it's revelation. The moment you stop speaking, life starts to answer. If you've ever chosen peace over confrontation, or held your tongue knowing time would reveal the truth for you, comment below, I understand this silence. Because for Capricorn, every quiet moment is a message. And that message is about to deepen, because the next truth reveals what happens behind those silent eyes. Let's open the next gate. Truth number 3, the watcher of details. To the untrained eye, Capricorn seems calm, almost too calm. But behind that calmness hides one of their most underestimated powers: observation. Capricorns don't just look. They see. They notice the tone behind your words, the hesitation in your smile, the tiny details that most people overlook. They are the watchers of the world, the quiet guardians of truth. In meetings, they're the ones who speak last, but when they do, their words hit like precision strikes. Because by then, they've read every gesture, every subtle reaction. They understand what's being said and what's being hidden. Many Capricorns say they feel mentally tired after social events, not because they dislike people, but because their mind never stops scanning for meaning. They can't help it. Saturn gifted them with an analytical lens that never turns off. They read energy like others read text. It's why you can't lie to a Capricorn for long. Even if they don't call you out immediately, they know. They log every inconsistency quietly, and when the right moment comes, they present the truth like a mirror, clear, sharp, undeniable. Think of Isaac Newton, a Capricorn whose relentless observation of nature's smallest details led him to uncover the laws of gravity. That's the Capricorn pattern: they watch, they connect dots, and then they reveal something the rest of the world missed. This gift can be both a blessing and a burden. Because seeing too much can make them weary. Knowing the truth before others are ready to face it can feel like loneliness. But that's the price of awareness, the quiet tax of wisdom. Life lesson number 3. Awareness is a gift, but also a responsibility. The more clearly you see, the more gently you must act. If you've ever walked into a room and instantly felt the truth no one was saying, comment below, I see it too. Because this is how Capricorn's intuition speaks, not in visions, but in precision. And while this ability gives them insight, it also builds their walls. Because when you see everything, you learn to test everyone. Which leads us to the next hidden gate. Truth number 4, the test of loyalty. Capricorns don't trust easily. Their loyalty isn't a gift, it's a process, one that must be earned through time, honesty, and consistency. They watch how you act when no one is watching. They test your patience, not to manipulate you, but to reveal who you truly are when the mask drops. These tests are never loud. They come in small ways: a delayed reply, a quiet distance, a subtle withdrawal of energy. They want to see, will you notice? Will you care? Because for Capricorn, loyalty isn't about words, it's about presence. When a Capricorn lets you in, it means they've already studied you, weighed your character, and decided you're safe territory. But if you fail those silent tests, by lying, by breaking trust, or by showing inconsistency, you may not even realize you've been removed. No confrontation, no drama. Just quiet disappearance. And once that door closes, it rarely opens again. To love a Capricorn is to understand that their loyalty is sacred. It's not built overnight, it's carved like stone, slowly, carefully, permanently. That's why, when they do choose you, you'll never have a more loyal companion. Their love is protection. Their friendship, a fortress. Many people call Capricorn cold, but they're not cold, they're cautious. They've seen what betrayal can do. They've had to rebuild too many times. Their tests are not about control, they're about safety. They need to know that if they fall, someone will actually catch them. Think of LeBron James, a Capricorn who spent decades building a small, unshakable circle of trust around him. He didn't rise alone, he rose with the ones who proved loyal through every loss, every storm. That's the Capricorn way, testing not to judge, but to choose wisely. Life lesson number 4. True loyalty is not proven in words or grand gestures, it's proven in quiet consistency when no one is watching. If you've ever tested someone's loyalty, or felt tested by a Capricorn yourself, comment below. Loyalty is sacred. Because once you pass their test, you're not just a friend, you're family. And family, to a Capricorn, means forever. But what happens when that mind that measures loyalty never stops working? Let's step into the next hidden truth. Truth number 5, the restless mind. Even when a Capricorn looks calm, their mind is rarely at rest. Behind those steady eyes, there's a constant stream of calculations, goals, tasks, next steps, backup plans. It's not anxiety, it's design. Capricorn's mind is an engine, always running, always improving, always planning for what comes next. To them, rest is not the absence of work, it's preparation for better work. Even on vacation, they're thinking of how to use time wisely. Even in silence, they're solving problems no one else even sees. Because in a Capricorn's world, stillness is not stagnation, it's strategy. They don't do this to impress anyone. They do it because they're wired to build, to create systems that last. Saturn, their ruling planet, doesn't reward laziness, it rewards discipline. So the Capricorn mind becomes a living map, tracing every route that could lead to success or stability. But there's a hidden cost. Their mind rarely lets them rest in peace. They struggle to switch off, because their thoughts are constantly constructing something, a plan, a defense, a future. It's why Capricorns often wake up in the middle of the night with new ideas or solutions. Their dreams are blueprints. Elon Musk, a textbook Capricorn, once said he can't stop thinking even when he tries. That's not ego, that's Capricorn energy, relentless innovation born from a restless mind. But even the most brilliant machine needs pauses between revolutions. And that's the lesson most Capricorns learn late in life. You can't control everything you build if you forget to recharge the builder. Balance isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Life lesson number 5. The mind is a tool, not a master. True control begins the moment you learn to rest without guilt. If you've ever found your thoughts racing even when your body begged for rest, comment below. My mind never stops. Because Capricorn's brilliance is also their burden. A restless mind that never stops reaching for higher ground. But soon, they'll discover why solitude is not a curse, it's a sanctuary. Let's open the next hidden gate. Truth number 6, the solitary path. Capricorn walks alone not because they enjoy isolation, but because solitude is where they hear themselves most clearly. They don't fear silence. They crave it. It's in that quiet space that they recharge, plan, and rebuild. To outsiders, this distance can feel cold, almost detached. But for Capricorn, solitude is sacred ground, a place where their thoughts can breathe without interruption, where they can untangle the noise of the world and listen to the steady rhythm of their own truth. They don't need crowds to feel alive. They need clarity. And clarity rarely comes from chaos. That's why a Capricorn will choose an evening alone with their journal over a night out with shallow company. They understand that the quality of one's inner world matters more than the quantity of external noise. This is not loneliness, it's alignment. It's a conscious choice to protect their energy, to prioritize peace over popularity. They would rather have 2 genuine souls beside them than 100 people who don't truly see them. J.R.R. Tolkien, a Capricorn, spent much of his life in quiet study, creating worlds from silence. His solitude didn't isolate him, it amplified his genius. That's the Capricorn path, withdrawing not to escape, but to refine. Of course, this self-sufficiency can confuse others. People wonder, why do you pull away? The answer is simple, because they need time to become whole again. Capricorn's alone time is not rejection, it's recovery. Every wall they build has a door, it just opens inward first. Life lesson number 6. Solitude is not emptiness. It's the space where your soul finally speaks louder than the world. If you've ever chosen peace over people, comment below, I understand this solitude. Because for Capricorn, walking alone isn't a punishment, it's preparation. And as they walk that solitary path, they begin to discover something deeper. Even beneath their calm surface, emotions still run wild, ancient, passionate, and often hidden. That brings us to the next revelation. Truth number 7, the hidden depth of emotion. If you think Capricorns don't feel, you haven't looked closely enough. Their calm expression, their steady tone, it all hides an ocean of feeling. They don't show emotion easily, not because they lack it, but because they've learned that feelings are sacred. They believe emotions should be guarded, not performed. Capricorns feel everything. They just choose to process it in silence. When hurt, they don't explode, they retreat. When betrayed, they don't scream, they close the door quietly and walk away. Their heart is a fortress not made of stone, but of discipline. And every brick was laid to protect a love that runs deeper than most people could handle. You may never see a Capricorn cry, but that doesn't mean they don't break. It means they break in private and rebuild before the world notices. Their strength is not the absence of pain, but the ability to transform it into purpose. Think of Denzel Washington, another Capricorn soul, stoic on the outside, deeply compassionate within. In his roles and in his life, you can sense that emotional gravity, the quiet kind that doesn't beg to be seen, but can be felt. That's Capricorn's emotional signature, subtle, restrained, but immensely powerful. They may appear distant, but when they finally open up to you, when they allow you to see that raw tenderness, it's no small thing. It means you've entered a sacred space. You've been chosen, trusted, loved in a way they rarely allow themselves to love. Life lesson number 7. Deep feeling doesn't need to be loud. The strongest hearts often whisper. If you've ever felt emotions so deep that words failed you, comment below, I feel this. Because Capricorn's strength is not their armor, it's the fire they keep hidden beneath it. And that fire burns with vision, with preparation, with mastery over chaos. Because beneath every calm surface, Capricorn always has a plan and 3 backups to protect it. Let's open the next secret gate. Truth number 8, the master of contingency. Capricorn rarely moves without a plan and never without a backup. They are the architects of foresight, the masters of contingency. While others hope for luck, Capricorn prepares for reality. They don't believe in chaos, only in unpreparedness. Before taking a step, they've already imagined every possible outcome. If plan A fails, they already have plan B, C, and D waiting quietly in the shadows. That's not paranoia. That's wisdom. Because Saturn, their ruling planet, teaches them that time rewards the prepared. When a Capricorn walks into a room, they've already read the dynamics. When they take on a project, they've already foreseen the challenges. It's what makes them incredible leaders. They don't panic, they pivot. When others crumble under pressure, Capricorn adjusts course and keeps moving forward. They see life like a mountain, steep, unpredictable, but conquerable if you know where to place your next step. And they never climb without ropes. This level of strategic thinking often makes people think they're controlling. But it's not control they seek, it's security. Because deep down, Capricorn knows that uncertainty has broken them before. And they've vowed never to be caught unprepared again. Think of Jeff Bezos, another Capricorn mind. Before Amazon became a global empire, he built it with contingency after contingency, multiple safety nets, calculated risk, deliberate patience. That's not luck. That's Capricorn's methodical genius. Yet this constant need for structure can become a burden. Because not everything in life can be scheduled. Sometimes, the universe demands faith, not plans. And that's where Capricorn's next evolution begins, learning to trust what they cannot predict. Life lesson number 8. Preparation builds strength, but surrender builds peace. If you've ever made plans just to feel safe, comment below. I understand this need for control. Because every Capricorn knows, control isn't power, awareness is. And when they finally learn to blend both structure and surrender, they reach their true mastery, wisdom without fear. But behind that mastery hides something deeper, a fear they rarely admit. One that drives all their effort, all their perfection, all their silence. Let's open the next gate. Truth number 9, the fear of incompetence. Capricorns are not afraid of failure. They are afraid of being seen as incapable. There's a difference, and it defines their entire existence. Failure, they can accept. They can learn, rebuild, and climb again. But being perceived as incompetent, that cuts deep. Because for Capricorn, respect is oxygen. It's not pride, it's survival. They spend their lives mastering their craft, not for applause, but for credibility. Every achievement is a brick in the fortress of self-respect they've been building since childhood. They don't just want to succeed, they need to prove, to themselves and the world, that they are reliable, capable, and irreplaceable. That's why Capricorns often carry the heaviest loads at work, in family, in friendships. They become the ones everyone depends on. The ones who can't afford to break down because others lean on their strength. And deep down, they fear what would happen if they ever dropped the weight. This fear can turn them into perfectionists, constantly checking, fixing, refining. Never satisfied, never fully resting. Because to them, mistakes feel like cracks in their reputation. And reputation, to a Capricorn, is sacred. Even when praised, they rarely relax. There's always that quiet voice whispering, "You could have done more." That voice is Saturn, the stern teacher, reminding them that excellence is a lifelong commitment. Michelle Obama once said, "Failure is an important part of your growth and developing resilience. Don't be afraid to fail." And that's the paradox of Capricorn, the sign that must learn that imperfection doesn't equal incompetence. That mistakes don't erase worth, they prove humanity. Life lesson number 9. Respect doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from showing up even when you're scared you're not enough. If you've ever felt that silent pressure to hold everything together, to always be the strong one, comment below, "I feel this pressure." Because Capricorn's greatest fear is also their greatest teacher. And when they finally learn that they don't need to earn worth through perfection, they begin to understand the next truth. Why they never do anything halfway. Let's open the next gate. Truth number 10, the perfection standard. When a Capricorn commits to something, they don't do it halfway. Their signature is excellence every time, in everything. To them, perfection isn't a dream. It's a duty. They take pride in the smallest details, in the precision that others overlook. Capricorn doesn't chase attention, they earn respect. And that respect comes from their consistency, the quiet promise that if they said they'd do it, it will be done. And it will be done well. They don't tolerate mediocrity, not from others, and especially not from themselves. Because for Capricorn, quality isn't about ego, it's about integrity. They believe that how you do one thing reflects how you do everything. And that belief shapes their entire existence. This perfection standard can make them seem demanding or rigid. But underneath it is something pure, a desire to honor their potential. They don't want to waste their gift. They want to do justice to their purpose. Beyoncé, a Capricorn icon, once said, "I'm never satisfied. I always want to do better. I always want to grow." That statement captures the Capricorn essence, mastery through relentless improvement. They don't compete with others. They compete with the best version of themselves. But this perfectionism comes with a hidden cost, exhaustion. Because when you live by impossible standards, rest can feel like weakness. Capricorns must learn that perfection isn't the absence of flaws, it's the presence of dedication. It's the willingness to keep refining while knowing you'll never fully arrive. Their perfection is not about control, it's about care. When a Capricorn pours themselves into something, it's their way of saying, "This matters. You matter." Life lesson number 10. True perfection is not flawless work, it's honest effort born from love. If you've ever given your all, only to feel it still wasn't enough, comment below, "I understand this perfection." Because the world doesn't see how much Capricorn sacrifices behind every success. They make excellence look effortless, but every polished surface hides invisible battles. And those battles lead to the next truth, the one that defines why Capricorns often carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. Let's open the next hidden gate. Truth number 11, the weight of responsibility. From the moment they can walk, Capricorns start carrying weight that isn't always theirs. Family expectations, unspoken duties, silent promises, they shoulder it all without complaint. It's as if Saturn marked them with an invisible seal that reads, "You are the one who must hold it together." They become the backbone of families, the reliable ones at work, the friends who fix everything while quietly falling apart inside. When chaos hits, people look to them. And they always deliver, even when they're exhausted, even when no one asks how they're doing. Capricorns rarely say no, not because they can't, but because they feel responsible for the well-being of everyone around them. They see responsibility as love in action. But this devotion has a shadow, the belief that if they stop holding things up, everything will collapse. This is why so many Capricorns struggle to rest. They mistake stillness for irresponsibility. Even when they finally pause, their mind whispers, "You should be doing more." But in truth, they've already done more than enough. It's the burden of being the anchor. Everyone depends on you, but who anchors you? Who holds the rock when the rock starts to crack? Capricorn rarely lets anyone see that side, their exhaustion, their loneliness, the pressure of perfection. They fear that vulnerability will make others lose faith in them. Yet the universe has a way of reminding them. Even the strongest pillars need maintenance. Even mountains erode without rest. Think of Martin Luther King Jr. again, the Capricorn who carried an entire movement on his shoulders. His strength was legendary, but it came at a cost few could comprehend. And yet, he proved something eternal, that responsibility becomes divine only when balanced with rest and renewal. Life lesson number 11. Strength doesn't mean carrying everything. Sometimes it means allowing yourself to be carried. If you've ever been the one everyone depends on, comment below, "I know this weight." Because for Capricorn, responsibility is both their greatest honor and their heaviest chain. And when they finally learn to release what isn't theirs to carry, they begin to uncover their purest truth, the fire that has been burning beneath all that stone. Let's open the final gate. Truth number 12, the fire beneath the stone. Capricorn appears made of stone, solid, disciplined, unshakable. But inside that stone is fire. A slow-burning flame that never dies, no matter how much pressure life puts on it. That fire is passion, loyalty, and an unspoken tenderness that few ever get to see. Capricorn's strength is legendary, but their love is what truly defines them. They don't love recklessly, they love deliberately. When they give you their heart, it's not a spark, it's an eternal flame. And they'll protect it with the same discipline they apply to every other part of their life. This is why when a Capricorn loves you, they remember the details. Your favorite song, the way you looked on the day you felt broken, the small things you thought no one noticed. They notice. They always notice. People often mistake their restraint for indifference. But what they don't understand is that Capricorn's emotions run deep, deeper than most people could ever swim. They simply don't show that fire until they trust that it's safe to burn. Behind every Capricorn achievement is a quiet, emotional reason. To build something that lasts, to give meaning to struggle, to prove that love and duty can coexist. They don't chase fame. They chase purpose. And that purpose is always fueled by heart. David Bowie, a true Capricorn spirit, once said, "I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise it won't be boring." That's the essence of the Capricorn fire, the courage to keep evolving. to turn discipline into art and pain into creation. Life lesson number 12. The world may see your strength, but your true power lies in how deeply you feel. If you've ever loved quietly but fiercely, if you've ever carried passion beneath your calm exterior, comment below, "My fire still burns." Because this is the final truth of Capricorn. They are not stone, but stars condensed. Fire shaped into form. And when that fire is finally freed, it doesn't destroy, it illuminates. Now, as all 12 gates stand open, it's time to gather everything we've uncovered. The lessons, the strength, the love, and transform it into legacy. Let's step into the final reflection. Legacy and light, the final wisdom of Capricorn. Now that the 12 gates have opened, what do we see? A soul that was never cold, only disciplined. A heart that learned love through endurance. A spirit that carried the world quietly, while building something eternal in silence. Capricorn's story has always been misunderstood. People see the strength, the success, the control. But they rarely see the cost, the sleepless nights, the self-doubt, the lonely roads, and the courage it takes to keep walking when no one applauds. Yet this is where Capricorn's true magic lives. They build not for recognition, but for meaning. They don't chase the spotlight, they become the foundation that others stand on. And that kind of greatness doesn't fade, it echoes through generations. Capricorns are the mountain builders of humanity. They remind the world that structure is sacred, that patience is power, and that dreams require discipline. But they also remind us that beneath the armor of responsibility lives a tender soul that still dreams, still hopes, still feels deeply even when no one sees it. The greatest gift Capricorn offers is example. They teach us that consistency is a form of love, that stability can be poetry, and that the quiet ones often move the world the most. And now, as Saturn continues its slow orbit, it's calling every Capricorn and every soul who relates to their journey to remember that life is not a race to be perfect, but a pilgrimage to become whole. Your silence is not emptiness, it's sacred space. Your discipline is not punishment, it's devotion. Your path may be slow, but it's eternal. Every lesson, every scar, every sleepless night has been shaping something luminous within you. A light that doesn't shout, but guides. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were built for legacy. And your legacy begins every time you choose authenticity over applause, patience over panic, love over fear. So if this message spoke to your soul, if at any moment you felt seen, understood, or awakened, take a moment now and share your light with this community. Speech balloon, comment your zodiac sign and birth date below, and tell us which truth resonated with you the most. Was it the silence, the strength, the fire? Let's see how many Capricorns and kindred spirits have walked through these 12 gates tonight. And if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to Zodiac Secrets Revealed, because this journey through the stars has only just begun. What's coming next will open even deeper cosmic doors, each revealing the hidden prophecies written in your own soul. Until then, remember this. You don't need to shout to be powerful. You don't need to prove to be worthy. You don't need to be loud to leave a mark. Because Capricorn, you were never made to follow. You were made to endure, to build, to shine. And no matter where life takes you, your discipline is your light. Your silence is your strength. And your authenticity is your crown. You are not here to be loud. You are here to be legendary. Zodiac Secrets Revealed.